It happens in less than a second. You turn your head to look at something, and the room seems to lag behind just for an instant before it catches up. Or you stand from a chair, and the world tilts, swims, and then settles. You grab the counter, you wait. It passes, and you tell yourself it was nothing. And here is the crucial detail almost no one explains. That brief swimming sensation is not nothing. It is a message from a structure inside your skull the size of a fingernail, and the way you respond to that message over the coming months will quietly shape whether your world stays large or slowly begins to shrink. Because the most devastating thing about dizziness in older adults is rarely the dizziness itself. It is what the fear of dizziness does to the body afterward. The fear moves in quietly, and it begins to rewrite how you move, how far you turn your head, how freely you walk, until one day you realize your life has organized itself around avoiding a feeling. My name is Dr. Marcus Reeve. After 2 decades as a neurosurgeon, I shifted my focus to health education and medical research. I operated many times in the deep region of the skull where the balance organ and its nerve connect to the brain stem. I have seen with my own eyes how small and how exquisitely precise that system is. And I learned something that took me years to fully appreciate. The inner ear does not simply wear out. It goes quiet from disuse, and fear is what keeps it quiet. What I am going to show you today is why dizziness happens, why the fear that follows is so physically destructive, and a short daily sequence of movements woven right into this video that begins waking the system back up. You will do some of them with me as we go. A quick, brief, but important note before I start. Sudden, severe, or new dizziness can occasionally signal something serious. If your dizziness comes with sudden, severe headache, slurred speech, weakness or numbness on one side, double vision, chest pain, fainting, or it began suddenly and will not stop, treat that as an emergency and call for help immediately. If your dizziness is recurring, severe, or worsening, please see your doctor for proper evaluation, because there are specific, very treatable inner ear conditions that need a professional diagnosis. This video is general education, not a substitute for that. Also, if this is the kind of honest conversation you have been looking for, type yes in the comments. It helps this reach others who need it. If you're serious about protecting your balance and independence as you age, subscribe now. I offer simple, science-based guidance for adults over 60, and you won't want to miss it. Please also tap the like button. It truly helps this video reach others quietly dealing with unsteadiness. And leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. I read them, and I appreciate every single one of you. Now let's start. To understand dizziness, you have to understand the organ behind it, because almost no one is ever shown what it actually does. Deep inside each ear, past everything involved in hearing, sits a structure called the vestibular system. 3 tiny fluid-filled canals arranged at precise right angles to one another detect every rotation of your head. Forward, backward, sideways, diagonal. Alongside them sit 2 small chambers lined with microscopic crystals that respond to gravity and to straight-line movement. Together, this is your internal gyroscope, and it fires continuous signals to your brain about where your head is and how it is moving, updating with every nod, every turn, every step. When I worked near this region in surgery, what always struck me was the precision of it. This system reports head position to the brain with extraordinary accuracy, dozens of times per second, entirely beneath your awareness. When it is working well, you never think about it. You turn to look at someone, and the world stays perfectly still while your head moves through it. But like every system in the body, the vestibular system changes with age. The delicate hair cells that convert fluid movement into nerve signals begin to decline in number and sensitivity from around the mid-50s onward. The signals become slightly less precise. The timing becomes slightly delayed, and that delay, invisible as it is, creates a gap, a fraction of a second where the world your eyes see and the world your inner ear reports do not quite agree. Your brain experiences that disagreement as dizziness, unsteadiness, or that brief swimming sensation when you turn. Here is the part that matters most, and the part almost no one is told. This system responds powerfully to use. The brain can recalibrate it. It can sharpen the signals again, but only if it is asked to. And most older adults, without realizing it, spend their days doing the exact opposite. They start protecting their head from movement. They turn their whole body instead of their neck. They move slowly and deliberately. They avoid the very motions that would keep the system tuned. Let's start waking it up right now, gently. Exercise 1. Seated gaze stability. Sit comfortably in a sturdy chair. Hold one thumb up at arm's length in front of you. Keep your eyes fixed firmly on your thumb, and now slowly turn your head side to side, left and right, while your eyes stay locked on the thumb. Small, slow movements, 10 gentle turns. Your thumb stays still. Only your head moves. This is one of the foundational drills used in vestibular rehabilitation. It forces your brain to coordinate eye movement with head movement, the exact coordination that goes rusty with disuse. You may feel a very slight wooziness. That is not a warning. That is the system being asked to work and beginning to respond. There is a reflex behind everything you just did, and it has a name worth knowing, because understanding it changes how you think about your own dizziness. It is called the vestibulo-ocular reflex. In plain terms, it is the system that keeps your eyes steady on the world while your head moves. When you turn your head left, this reflex moves your eyes right by exactly the same amount instantly, so the image of the world stays still on your retina. It is the reason you can read a sign while walking, or keep your eyes on a face while nodding. It runs faster than conscious thought. When the vestibular system weakens, this reflex loses precision. Your eyes no longer compensate perfectly for your head movement. So when you turn quickly, the world appears to lag, smear, or jump for a fraction of a second before settling. That sensation is deeply unsettling, and the natural response is to stop turning your head quickly, to stop turning it much at all. And that is exactly where the trouble compounds, because this reflex, like a muscle, is maintained by demand. The more you move your head through space, the sharper it stays. The more you protect your head from movement, the more the reflex fades, which makes the next quick turn feel even worse, which makes you protect it even more. It is a cycle that feeds itself, and most people never realize they are inside it. The way out is not to avoid the movement. It is to reintroduce it gently and deliberately, so the brain has a reason to recalibrate. Exercise 2. Standing head turns. Stand near a counter or sturdy chair you can touch for support. Feet about hip-width apart. Pick a point on the wall in front of you at eye level. Now slowly turn your head to look over your right shoulder, then back to center. then over your left shoulder, then back. Slow and controlled. 5 turns each direction. Keep breathing. Let your eyes travel with your head this time. If you feel a little unsteady, that is information, not failure. It tells you exactly which system has been underused. Your support is right there. Stay with it. Now we come to the part that almost no conversation about dizziness ever addresses. And in my experience, it is the most important part of all. The fear. Here is what happens. A person has a few episodes of dizziness. Maybe a spinning spell that frightened them. Maybe a near fall that left their heart pounding. The episodes themselves may be brief, even harmless. But the fear they leave behind is not brief. It settles in and quietly begins to change the way the body moves. Fear does something specific and physical. It stiffens the muscles that need to stay loose and responsive. It shortens the stride that needs length to be stable. It locks the neck so the head stops turning freely. It pulls the eyes downward to watch the floor. It produces a rigid, careful, robotic way of moving that feels safer, but is actually less stable, because fluid balance depends on relaxed, automatic microadjustments, and fear overrides every one of them. This is not a character weakness. It is one of the most well-documented phenomena in the study of aging and balance. The fear of falling has been shown in research published in journals like Age and Aging to be an independent predictor of future falls, entirely separate from a person's actual physical ability. Read that again. You can be physically capable of moving confidently and still fall more often, simply because fear has restructured the way you move, and fear narrows the world. It starts small. You decline the dinner at the restaurant with the dim lighting and the uneven floor. You take the elevator instead of the stairs. You stop turning your head to check behind you and turn your whole body instead. You stop bending down to the garden, to the grandchildren, to the bottom shelf. Each accommodation feels reasonable. Each one removes another demand from the very system that needs demand to stay sharp. The fear protects you from a feeling, and in doing so, it slowly takes your life apart, one avoided movement at a time. The way back is not to wait until you feel confident and then move. It is the reverse. You move carefully and within safe limits, and the confidence follows the movement. The nervous system learns trust by doing, not by waiting. Exercise 3. Confident weight transfer. Stand with your support nearby. Slowly shift your weight fully onto your right foot. Pause. Feel it. Then slowly transfer fully onto your left. Not stepping, just transferring, like a slow, deliberate sway. 10 shifts. As you do this, let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Breathe out slowly. You are teaching your body that it can carry its own weight without bracing. You are practicing the opposite of fear. There is something happening underneath all of this that explains why a confident balance system feels so effortless, and why a fearful one feels so exhausting. Most people assume the brain works like a security guard, watching the body and stepping in when something goes wrong. But that is not how balance works. Your brain does not wait for instability and then react to it. It predicts it. It is running constant split-second simulations of where your body is about to be, adjusting muscle tension and priming reflexes before any wobble actually occurs. Neuroscientists call this feed-forward control, and it is the reason healthy balance feels like nothing at all. The brain is managing it ahead of you, invisibly, the way a skilled driver corrects the wheel before the car drifts rather than after. When the system weakens through disuse, through reduced inner ear signal, through fear locking the body down, the brain loses some of its predictive ability. It shifts from anticipating to reacting. And in the physics of an upright body, reacting is always slower than predicting. That lag, that tiny delay between a sway beginning and your body correcting it, is where the genuine danger lives. The good news is that the prediction system can be retrained. Every time you move your head and body through space in a controlled way, you give the brain fresh data to update its forecast. You are not just exercising muscles. You are sharpening the brain's ability to see the next moment coming. And the place this matters most is in turning, which is exactly where most older adults feel the least secure. The kitchen, the bathroom, a narrow hallway. Turning demands the most from your inner ear's predictive system, which is why it is where confidence so often breaks first. Exercise 4. Slow, controlled turns. In an open space with your support within reach, take 3 or 4 slow steps forward. Then, deliberately and smoothly, turn to face the opposite direction, leading with your hips, keeping your eyes level and forward rather than dropping them to the floor. Walk back. Turn again, 6 to 8 times. Each controlled turn is a direct deposit into your inner ear's prediction system, a clear message to your brain that directional change is still something the body knows how to navigate. If this is helping you so far, a quick like genuinely helps it reach others who have been quietly organizing their lives around avoiding that swimming feeling. It helps us help more people. Through everything you have done so far, one system has been quietly carrying more than its share. Your eyes. When the inner ear weakens, the brain compensates by leaning harder on vision. You start watching the floor. You feel far less stable in dim light. You feel uneasy in busy, moving environments where the visual scene is chaotic. This is not because your eyes have gotten worse. It is because they are now doing a job they were never meant to carry alone, propping up a balance system that has stopped pulling its full weight from the inner ear and the feet. This is why a dark hallway, a crowded room, or closing your eyes in the shower can suddenly feel so precarious. The crutch is removed, and what is left underneath has gone quiet. The way to strengthen the inner ear and the position sense from your feet is to deliberately, briefly, and safely take vision out of the equation, so the other systems are forced to step up. Research on balance rehabilitation has shown clearly that removing visual input during controlled movement pushes the brain to rely more on vestibular and position signals, strengthening exactly those pathways through demand. The brain becomes good at what it is required to do. This next one is the most revealing exercise in the whole sequence. Not the hardest physically, but the most honest, because it shows you exactly how much of your balance has quietly become dependent on your eyes. Exercise 5. Eyes closed, steady stance. This one requires real safety. Stand with your back near a wall and a sturdy counter or chair directly in front of you, so support is within reach in every direction. Feet hip-width apart on a firm, flat surface. Take one slow breath. Now gently close your eyes and simply stand, breathing steadily for as long as feels safe, up to perhaps 15 or 20 seconds. Notice the small adjustments in your ankles firing faster than they did with your eyes open. That is your inner ear and your feet being asked to work without their crutch and rising to it. Open your eyes anytime you feel you need to. This is not a test you pass or fail. It is a conversation you are restarting. What is happening in those seconds is genuinely remarkable. Your nervous system is rebuilding its internal map of where your body is in space, recalibrating the signals from your feet, your ankles, and your inner ear, and learning to trust them again without vision as a safety net. That trust is everything, because the dark room, the unexpected step, the moment your eyes cannot help, those will not wait for your vision to catch up. Your internal systems need to be ready, and right now, you are asking them to be. I want you to picture two people, because the difference between them is the whole point of this video. The first one is 76 years old. She turns her head freely to talk to someone beside her while she walks. She takes the stairs without gripping the rail with both hands. She bends to the garden and rises again without a second thought. She moves through her day the way you move when you trust your own body, not carelessly, but freely. The second one is 62 years old. He turns his whole body instead of his head. He holds the shopping cart not because it is heavy, but because it is steady. He has quietly stopped accepting invitations that involve unfamiliar places or dim restaurants. He has organized his life, without ever deciding to, around not feeling that swimming sensation. Same gravity, same species, the younger one more limited than the older. What separates them is not the year on a birth certificate. It is that one of them kept her inner ear in the conversation, kept moving her head, kept challenging her balance, kept the fear from writing the rules, and the other let the system go quiet and let the fear take over the map. This is what I most want you to take from today. The decline that most people blame entirely on age is, in large part, the result of withdrawal. Every movement avoided to escape a feeling weakens the system that produces stability, which deepens the feeling, which leads to more avoidance. But that cycle runs just as powerfully in reverse. The brain adapts to demand. Ask it for stability consistently, and it rebuilds it. This is not wishful thinking. Neuroplasticity research has shown again and again that the aging brain forms new pathways well into advanced age when the right movements are practiced consistently. And studies on balance training in older adults have found that it improves not only physical stability, but something researchers call balance self-efficacy, the genuine confidence to move through daily life. The physical and the psychological heal together because when your nervous system trusts itself again, your whole relationship with movement changes. Let me bring the 5 movements together into one short daily practice. None of it requires equipment. All of it requires consistency. Each day, with support nearby and in a safe space, move through the 5. Seated gaze stability, standing head turns, confident weight transfer, slow controlled turns, and the eyes closed steady stance. Move slowly. Breathe. Treat the slight wooziness that some of these produce not as a danger, but as the sound of a system being asked to work again. If any movement provokes strong spinning, stop, sit, let it pass, and discuss it with your doctor, because certain specific inner ear conditions have their own targeted treatments and deserve a professional's eyes. Do the sequence daily, 5 minutes. The brain responds faster than most people expect, often within a few weeks, because it is not learning something new. It is reactivating something it already knows. And alongside the movements, gently resist the small withdrawals. Turn your head to look behind you instead of your whole body. Take the stairs when it is safe, hand on the rail. Spend a little time on safe, varied ground. Each of these is a message to your nervous system. This system still matters. Keep it ready. What I learned in 20 years of operating near the human balance system is that it is far more resilient and far more responsive than most people are ever told. It does not simply fail with age. It goes quiet when it's no longer asked to perform, and it grows quiet faster when fear takes hold and starts removing the demands one by one. But fear is not a fact about your body. It is a pattern your nervous system has learned, and patterns can be unlearned. The swimming feeling when you turn your head, the lurch when you stand, the instinct to grab the wall, these are not a verdict about your future. They are an invitation to start the conversation again. There is a kind of freedom that has nothing to do with money or circumstance. It is the freedom to turn your head without bracing, to stand without reaching for the counter, to move through a room and simply be in it. That freedom is not a memory that age has permanently taken from you. It is a neurological state, and neurological states respond to practice. One last question before we close. How old are you, and where are you watching from? Write it in the comments. The patterns shift across the decades, and knowing the age of this audience helps me shape what I cover next. A quick reminder, everything in this video is general health education, not personalized medical advice, and persistent or severe dizziness should always be evaluated by your own doctor. If this helped you, please share it with someone who has grown more careful, more still, more afraid of their own next step. You may be handing them the way back. Take care of yourself. See you in the next video.